All right, guys. Well, welcome back to another episode 11 of the Packaging Experience podcast. Tom, we did it. Episode 11. I feel accomplished. I know we're not there yet, but we're getting there.
Oh, yeah, we're totally blowing up. I think we're number 4 most watched podcasts related to packaging.
Yep.
There's only 4 packaging podcasts, but we're up there.
Yeah.
Also,
Moving
number
on
11
up.
is a big deal. My soccer number,
Okay.
my football number. My wife's birthday is on the 11th.
Oh, wow.
There's a whole bunch of different things in our family. So number 11 is kind of like our family number, which is awesome. And I'm, maturity-wise, I'm an 11-year-old, so perpetually. So it's a big number for me.
And so that's funny because
I'm
the last
excited.
one's mine. So that's funny. Yeah, number 10.
Oh, 10?
Everything you said
Yeah.
was 10 was my number, wrestling number, volleyball number. That's my birthday. So I'm with you on that. Mine was last, and now Tom's this one. So if you're in the comments, please give Tom a round of applause. He would appreciate that. And let's go ahead and get into the topic. Tom and I, we are always talking about sustainability, the roles of certain things. And today we're going to be going over the role of digital flex pack or digital flex. And so I'm gonna let Tom kind of get into it, but also just to kind of give you some insight, we're just going to go over benefits today, the importance of it. Tom, of course, is always going to dive into the chemistry of it because, you know, he is the brightest nerd I know, and that's what I love about him. But yeah, let's go ahead and jump into it.
Yeah, digital flex pack. So just again, my background, I worked with a company for 20 years that really saw the beginning of digital flex pack start to take a foothold in the United States and globally as a digital flex pack press came out and it started to be a viable option. We were working closely with the HP Indigo platform, and we worked with Michelman, and we were a distributor of their primers or coatings. Basically, digital inks don't stick to plastic very well, so you need a primer layer. Here's your film. You lay down a super thin layer of a water-based coating. You hit it with a bunch of forced air, hot air, dries it off, cures it on there, and then the ink will stick to that. If you didn't have that primer coating, the ink would stick there. Or wouldn't stick there, and you could just rub it right off like it was a dry erase board. Anyway, so I've been in digital flex pack for a long time. And the reason that digital flex pack is so exciting is because it's starting to take chomps into the marketplace, and it's starting to really give small brands or medium-sized brands the ability to look like the big boys and come with really great packaging, as opposed to like, hey, I'm a mom and pop. When you go to a farmer's market, it's just a clear bag and then they throw a sticker on it. With digital flex pack, you could do a lot of things that are really cool. So I kind of have like 5 or 6 things about digital flex pack that I wanted to go over that I think are really awesome. And things are going to change. Digital flex pack, I think the biggest thing holding it back right now is speed. You can run traditionally flexible packaging is printed one of 2 different methods. It's either rotogravure, which flies, and flexo, which is really, really fast too. So when I say flies, like flexo presses, like a central impression press can run like 1,300, 1,600 feet per minute. That is printing at a crazy, crazy pace.
Yeah.
Digital flex pack, you're at, I don't know, 190, 200, depending on how you're running and your ink configuration. That's a huge step back, right? So if I'm Nestle and I need to do a bajillion chocolate bars or whatever, I'm not going to do digital flex pack unless there's a driving reason to do that. So let's start with number 1 driving reason that digital flex pack is super cool is customization and personalization. The reason that rotogravure and flexo can run so fast is because it's the same print over and over and over again. Same exact image. Bam, 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 bam. With digital, you run at 200 feet per minute, but every single impression, every single bag can be unique. So you'll see people take advantage of that. Some of the maybe more topical ways that you've seen in the market is Share Coke, where all the Coke labels are the same, except this says Share Coke with Tom. So they would print almost the entire part of that label, flexo or rotogravure, and then they would just do the name change digitally. So they could say, okay, I want 50,000 Toms. Okay, now switch it over to Joe's. Now switch it over. You don't have to stop the press, right? So that was a real fast way for them to do the share code program, which is super cool. Kit Kat did something where you could upload photos. Oreos did something where you could upload photos. M&M's does this as well, where you can upload a photo and then you'll get a package of whatever that product is with your actual image on there. That's super cool. And that's Digital Flex Pack. So they'll upload all those images into their RIP software and pre-press. And then every single image is unique. So that is a really cool thing with Digital Flex Pack that you're definitely not going to get with Flexography. There's no customization. Another reason that's super important is something where you need to understand the chain of ownership from beginning to end. Like in the cannabis market, it's like now they require that I need to know the tracing of this particular seed that you bought, where it was grown, who harvested it, who picked it, who dried it, where did it go in the distillery? Who purchased it? You get all this crazy market data because each individual UPC or barcode that you put on there, you can make it unique. So with typical packaging, the barcode is the same for every single, 5-pack of Kit Kat bars. The barcode is the same. To every store, everywhere, it's just the same. And that's how they track it. With this, you can make every single barcode on every single package unique. And then you can get that traceability, that tracking software to see where it is. Really important for high-end brands like Gucci or Coach or something like that, where they're getting ripped off. You even see it in liquor quite a bit where they do knockoff like Absolute or knockoff Grey Goose. And you could go on there as a consumer and scan that and they could say, oh, yes, this is a legit thing or this isn't a legit thing. So really cool things that you could do with the customization and personalization. So that's number one. And I know I just talk like a bore. Jeff, I should let you interject because I'm just going to ramble on and pontificate on Digital Flex Pack because I love it.
This is good. I mean, you're hitting the customization, the speed and efficiency, and of course, everything else. This is great. So I'm going to let you keep steamrolling this one right now because pretty much it's going to say exactly what you said.
Awesome. Awesome. All right. Speed to market. Here's another one. Everybody wants to get to market quickly, especially with the entrepreneurial spirit of the United States. We have all these small and medium-sized brands of somebody that starts in their garage, your Steve Jobs, your Jeff Bezos, all these different awesome companies. They started in the garage, right? Or somewhere small, in a storage unit or what have you. So everybody starts small and then you got to get bigger. But when you are trying to do packaging, there's a lot of work done and you're creating the artwork of the packaging and you want to see what it looks like. And then you got to go through pre-press and then you've got to print it. And where you got to burn your plates after pre-press is done. And then you got to print it. And then you got to laminate it. And then you got to let that lamination adhesive cure. And then you can slit it. And then you can pouch it. So in typical times, you're looking at like 60, 65 days from conception to actually getting to market. Excuse me. With Digital Flex Pack, it's way faster because number one, you can laminate first and then just print on the top. So you get all that barrier and stuff like that and then put a water-based or an e-beam coating on top of it. So you take that long cure, the adhesive step out of there, which is awesome. Second, no plates to burn. Like I said, there's no plates because every image can be unique. So you don't have to worry about that as well. So there are companies out there. I'm going to give a shout out to the Packaging Lab, for example. You can get one-offs, one pouch. They will let you buy one pouch at a time. Granted, it's going to be a fortune for one pouch, but you could do that, which is amazing. So you can upload your art. There's like a web to commerce or web to print and you mess around with it and you hit print and they're going to send you one pouch for that. But nobody's really buying one pouch unless you're just trying to do a conceptual touchy-feely type thing. But if you're making your own pet treats in your kitchen and you're only going to do, 500 pounds at a time or something like that in the 16-ounce bags or pound bags, then you only need 500 pouches, right? Where else can you get 500 professionally looking pouches? No, that what you're doing is you put them in clear pouches and then you're doing stickers and you're sticking them on the pouch and it looks like you're a startup company. Where with Digital Flex Pack, you can put a lot of resources into your packaging and really make you look like you have resources and reach and credibility that you didn't have before. So speed to market is cool. And then again, just that kind of segue into the short runs, right? So let's say a company has 3 or 4 different concepts for a bag. Let's say it's Doritos. And they're like, I wonder if this one will sell more, this one will sell more. They can pilot the market as opposed to saying, I want 4 million Dorito bags every month delivered. They could say, you know what? I want 50,000 of this, 50,000 of this, 50,000 of this, 50,000 of this. And we're going to put it in the market and we're going to see which one sells more. All right, well, this design sells more. It's no more, getting people around and trying to do double blind surveys to see what people like better or don't like better. You can actually go and probe the market and pilot the market with 4 different packaging styles or techniques or just art changes. And then you can see which one the consumer actually buys more of. And then you go to Flexo and Gravure and say, okay, customers in the United States like this. So we're going to run 20 million of this bag. Or it might even be different geographically. Like maybe you break up the country into the Southwest, Southeast, Northeast, Northwest, and you do that same thing. And the Northwest really likes this package, but the Southeast likes this style package. And then now you're catering specifically to your market. And all that is brought to you by real data because you could do short runs with Digital Flex Pack. So not only does it help the small brands or medium-sized brands, the emerging brands that don't have big demand yet, but it also helps the established brands do pilot programs to really let them know what's going on. And it allows them to hold just-in-time inventory because that speed to market and the way that they can do that is a little bit better. A lot of people are concerned with, okay, I want to launch this product. Okay, I think I'm going to do this much. I think I'm going to sell 500,000 units in 6 months. Well, 6 months has gone by and you've sold 25,000 units. Maybe that product is never going to be successful and take off. But do you have 6 months worth of packaging that you don't have anything to do with except make Trex decking out of it because nobody's buying it, right? So there's a tie back to, I don't know, for 4 of our followers. I hope you get that reference.
Great reference.
So again, I'm going to pause because I'm pontificating and you can tell I get excited about this stuff. So,
this is good.
So far we've gone over customization and personalization, speed to market, cost effectiveness for short runs. Any questions or comments on any of that stuff, Jeff?
I mean, no, you're pretty much hitting the nail on the head on that one. Just for the listeners out there, kind of what Tom is saying is like it enables the customer to really have their own customization. And then now when you get to that point, you're not just one of those companies that looks like you put a sticker from the quarter machine on your packaging. So, ultimately that's, this is where he's going with that, just to kind of sum it up into a small little whole. And yeah, I think what you're hitting right now is great. And yeah, let's keep going. This one's fun. This one's gonna be a good one.
Awesome. Number 4, which is our favorite, is the sustainability portion of it. So or the environmental impact. So there's a couple things. I just said, if you buy a bunch of plastic, a bunch of packaging, and that product doesn't sell, what do? You just dump it in the trash. That's not great, especially if it's going into a landfill and not getting recycled. So by reducing, Digital Flex Pack reduces massive overruns or massive mistakes on products because you're just doing just-in-time inventory and it's easy to check. It's easy to make changes without having to burn new plates. When you're burning plates, that requires chemistry. When you're using rotogravure or flexo printing, usually those are solvent-based inks. So you're using a lot of solvent like isopropyl or something like that, IPA. Most digital inks, whether it's inkjet or the Indigo platform, are water-based. And there's just a lot less chemicals that are required, a lot less chemicals that can make it into your groundwater and your water table and stuff like that. Also, FlexPack in general has a really great sustainable story because you're not doing heavy rigids like tin cans or boxes or something like that. That's heavy. It's cheap to ship. There's less gas being used to get it from point A to point B because the packaging is way lighter than usually the contents of the package, which hasn't always been the case, right? Like baby food, glass jars, heavy as hell. I mean, and amazing. Glass is an amazing package. It really is from a recyclability standpoint, but it's just heavy and it breaks. Flexible packaging it can if you spike like a big heavy bag. But for the most part, if you just drop it on the floor, it's not going to shatter like glass. So that is a pretty cool sustainability edge. And And here's the big one. And I know I mentioned it before with the plates, but the design flexibility and the things that you could do with digital, like Flexo and Gravure are great printing methodologies. They really are. And you can get some really good looking packages those ways, but it's not the same as digital. It is not the same. I mean, with digital FlexPack, the technology, I mean, you're printing pictures on your bag. So talking about engaging with the customer and really making things pop, that's a cool way to go. And the way that you can handle it with, like, if you're doing a metallized, I'll tell you, I think the best design and the coolest design, whether you're pro cannabis or anti-cannabis, doesn't matter. If you go into a dispensary, if they have them in your area and it's recreationally legal, go in there and see what they're doing, because cannabis is usually using a metallized polyester to create your moisture and oxygen barrier. So if you're walking down the street, well, first you want to keep your flower fresh. And if you're walking down the street, you don't want to smell like, George Clinton's tour bus. So, it keeps all that smell in there. You're using metallized polyester as your barrier, but you could do cool things with that metallized and really make it sharp. You don't want to cover it all up with ink. Maybe you just do like a 20% coverage with like a bright magenta that you could get on digital that you can't get anywhere else. And then it's just like a big metallic print, and it should be catching your eye. Cannabis does a really good job with trying to catch your eye with their packaging. So the design flexibility and, again, the quality of the imagery is just amazing. There's no trapping, because if you look at even on central impression, the way that you lay down your inks is like it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 if you have a 10 color station, but they're not all done at the same time, where with digital, like especially with the Indigo platform, you lay them down on the blanket in perfect registration, and then you flip it over. So it's always perfect. I'm sure you've picked up packaging where you can see like the yellow is kind of sticking out on text, or the black is up, like it's not in perfect registration and it almost looks like your eyes are blurry. That doesn't happen in digital via inkjet or the Indigo platform. So the image quality is just super cool, and you can get down to like micro dots. That's another security feature of digital FlexPack, is because it can print so fine and so clear that you could do micro print as a security measure as well, that if somebody was trying to knock off your product, they wouldn't even see that micro print in there unless they had like, magnifying glass or something like that.
Sure.
Again, just another layer of security for those brands that are getting knocked off. Oh, man, I am talking a lot. So
no, that was good.
I'm so sorry.
Like enhancing that shelf presence. I mean, just like what Tom was saying, like whenever you go into the dispensary, a lot of those, things, they're made at a high quality. It looks amazing. And like Tom was saying, it's not going to be duplicated. So if that's, your product, and it's just a lot of the backs are very, in my eyes, they look very pretty, and that's not very, like what Tom was saying about the other packaging, a lot of overlays, sometimes spacing, some smudges, some stuff here and there, but the enhanced part of it is, it's very well done.
Yeah. I mean, they have some cool things where you can make every single package unique, but you don't have to design every single package. There's something called like mosaics or something like that, to where, let's say I'm doing, let me think of something like a Southwest style beef jerky, right? So maybe on that packaging, I'll have like a cactus and a cow horn and a horseshoe or something like that with that Southwest feel. And you punch in those like elements, and you tell software, okay, I want at least 4 of each of these elements, but just randomize it on every package. So every package is unique. And one, it's got 4 cactuses, but one's here, one's here. The next one, they're in different places. So every single package is unique. But you're not designing every single package. How cool is that to give people that ability to do it? So it's,
it feels like a collectible almost.
Yeah, exactly. It's so funny you say that, because my son likes to collect like retro Coca-Cola stuff. He's got a whole bunch of retro Coca-Cola stuff.
The bear and everything.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, he bought a Mexican Coke this morning. He loves a Mexican Coke.
Yeah.
He wants me to start buying
stevia or cane. They use cane sugar.
Yes, cane sugar.
Cane sugar,
instead
so
of
amazing.
Processed.
Yep.
Yeah.
So good. Yeah.
Yeah, and I didn't realize it until I went to Costco last week, but they sell the Mexican Coke in bulk there.
Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I don't know how I feel about buying. soda in bulk with that much sugar, but I'd rather pay triple at the convenience store. That's pretty.
Yeah,
He's gonna
hear
drink it
that.
anyway. I might as well save money. But if it's there, that's the issue with buying soda. I know this is a total segue, but the issue with buying soda in bulk is if it's there and it's convenient and it's cold, you just go through on. I
Yep,
mean,
so
it's
easy.
bad. Yeah,
Yeah,
you're like, oh,
so easy.
I'm gonna make an Arctic of water. Oh, never mind. I'm just gonna have a Coke
Yeah.
Zero instead. It's right there. I don't have to do
Well,
anything.
and
So
that's kind of my problem right now is I drink too much LaCroix, and like in my head, in my nutrition head, I'm thinking, oh, it's just water, right? So like, two, three of them go down and I'm like, well, I got my water in. And it's like,
yeah,
no, no, no. So
yeah. I mean, I love Lacroix.
yeah, that's men's science, I guess.
And it's aluminum, so it's super easy to recycle aluminum
Yep,
compared to a lot of other things.
agreed.
Right. Like you can actually turn that back. That's true recycling, where Trex Tech is downcycling. It's harder with plastic bags to get it into another usable form, but aluminum is pretty awesome. Glass is
Yeah,
pretty awesome.
yeah,
Um,
definitely grew up
so
with
yeah,
glass.
that's it. I know like on that side, I get super excited and talk fast. So I'm sure like the talk to text thing at the bottom that's going to show up there is going to miss half of my words. But I get super passionate about flexible packaging because it's just a matter of
Shows.
time before 300 feet per minute turns into 500, and then 500 doubles to 1,000, and then 1,000 goes to 1,500, and then that's when the market share of Flexo and Gravure to digital really, I think that's going to be a tipping point, especially if they could get like the ink costs on certain things in line closer to Flexo. Man, it just might be a thing in past, just like film cameras, right? It's like, yes, there are purists that still shoot silver halide film, like medium and large format, like Clyde Butcher in the Everglades. His black and white work is amazing. If I don't know if you've ever seen it, but he's kind of like the Ansel Adams of the Everglades down here in Florida. Shoots
Mm-mm.
amazing landscape black and whites with a huge wide format, big wooden camera, where you're actually sliding the
Oh
film
wow.
in and pulling it out. Yeah, and he's hiking in there with like boa constrictors and
Oh my
crocodiles. But
gosh.
if you don't know who Clyde Butcher is, check him out. Buy some of his
Yeah, I
prints.
will
I mean,
too.
they are beautiful. And
Yeah,
if you
'cause I
know
like
Ansel
Ansel.
Adams, like
Ansel.
in
Yeah,
Yosemite, and I mean, it's just sick.
yeah.
Um,
Definitely famous for
so
his Yosemite
that's
pics.
I mean, that's really cool. And like that same technology to give you an idea of the image quality, that's the same technology that they're doing for like yearbooks or wedding photo albums. Is the same technology they're doing with their packaging. That print technology that they took from that commercial space, they brought into the packaging space, which is awesome.
Yeah,
Um,
agreed.
yeah, I mean, let's see. I mean, there's like Shutterfly, all those guys that are using that type of technology, and those books look really good. It's almost all digital, and it's the same print technology. We're just sticking it to plastic instead of paper, and that's where that primer came in. We just came full circle.
Yeah.
That was the biggest issue with digital printing is it didn't stick to synthetics until Michelman did some amazing things with their water-based coatings. So that's pretty cool.
This is the
Um,
part I love about the podcast where Tom drops the fun facts for you. And, I should be writing these down, but, this is the one part. And I'm glad Tom's on board with all the podcasts and everything because this is where it's fun. He drops the little fun facts for you and these little take home messages as well. So thank you,
I
Tom.
mean, I don't know if they're necessarily facts, and I really question how fun they are. But they're in my head, and I am spitting them out of my mouth. So we'll see. Feel
Yeah.
free to fact check me
Yeah.
on this topic. I'm pretty confident. Again, I spent like 20 years in this space, so uh, I love FlexPack. It
Yeah.
is really cool, and again, it's going to take the world by storm here in the next 10 or 15 years.
Yeah. That's
If we're all
exciting.
still around. Yeah.
Yep. Very exciting.
So let's switch to the most important topic of the podcast, I think.
Yep. If I need to add in some like clapping emojis or some clapping sounds in the background or some like party confetti. But here we go. It's March Madness.
Yes, it
Yes.
is. Yes,
Yes.
it is.
And if any of you listeners are out there, you know that Tom and I are not only about saving the planet, but we are also about sports. And I don't know if you
Mhm.
guys caught the last few podcasts, but Tom is an Eagles fan, and we were diving into that, and now we're diving into March Madness. And I know you're excited
Mhm.
because I know him and I are excited. So before we get into this, I guess, Tom, my question is this is probably the most, I think this is probably the most stupid question I have for you because I already know who you're voting for, but who are you voting for?
Oh, to win
Yeah.
March Madness? Of course,
Yep.
it's the Gators. It's my alma
Okay.
mater.
Yep.
I mean, I don't gamble a ton. I gamble a very small amount. I gamble maybe frequently, but small dollar amounts, right? So they won me a little bit of money winning the SEC tournament, and of course, I put money on them to win the national championship. Although they struggled a little bit with UConn on Sunday, that was a little
Yeah,
nerve
that was
wracking,
stressful.
but they pulled it out.
Stressful because I have them winning as well. I have them pulling it off. Um, yeah, it was a very stressful game. That was not easy to watch in some cases, but I'm glad they were able to pull off the win because if not, that would have ruined my entire bracket. But yeah,
Oh
I'm
yeah,
pulling
if
for
the
Florida.
Gators lose, I'm out.
Yeah.
I'm
So,
definitely out. But I mean, Duke is a problem.
yep.
Duke is a problem. And the SEC just broke the record for most amount of teams in the Sweet 16, with 7 out of the 16 teams being SEC. And even with that, I think there's only one SEC versus SEC matchup. I think Tennessee, Kentucky is the only game that's 2 SEC teams. I'll have to double check that. But that means there's a potential to have 6 out of the Elite 8
Yeah.
be SEC teams, which is bananas.
Yeah.
Um,
Definitely the most
I don't know.
wild March Madness I've been a part of in quite a while.
Yeah, some surprises, right? Like Arkansas was a bit of a surprise. Tennessee is not a surprise. They're good. Auburn's not a surprise. They're really good.
Yeah. Ole
Sway
Miss
Bruce
was a
coaches a
huge
good
surprise
program.
against Iowa State. I didn't mean to interrupt
I
you. I'm
had
sorry, but
them. I had them. I had Ole Miss in my bracket for sure on that one. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's just so. Here's a cool thing. It just so happened that my kid's spring break fell during March Madness, the first 2 days, and we were planning on going on a trip from Thursday to Sunday, but they both were a little behind on schoolwork, so I took those days off expecting to be on a trip with them, and they were just sitting there working on some past due schoolwork. So I was basically one eye making sure they were continuing the work, and then the other eye just watching TV. It was amazing. I used to, when I was younger and not have kids, take that Thursday and Friday off every year and just sit and watch, because I mean, there's 16 games on Thursday, 16
yeah.
games on Friday, and then 8 on Saturday and 8 on Sunday. It's amazing.
Yeah. Pure adrenaline for the first 2 days. Pure adrenaline. It's just
Yeah.
exciting. It's fun to be a part of, screaming, yelling, go through 6 bags of chips, the family
Mm-hmm.
size. And yeah, no, this one is definitely exciting. I'm glad you picked Florida. I was not going to go with, I wasn't going to follow suit and go with Duke just because I want to see Duke lose. That might just be a little biased there. But yeah, mix. Who do you have for Michigan and Ole Miss? I picked Michigan.
It depends. I have like 17 brackets.
Oh, that
No,
seems
that's
to
not
be the
true.
smart.
I have 3 brackets.
Yeah, that seems to be the
So
smart move.
I don't even know how
That's
to
what I
look.
should have done. Is had multiple brackets. I only have one bracket this year.
The only one?
Yeah, I only got one this year. I didn't want to do any
Uh,
other ones for some reason.
yeah, so my old company, there's like, it's $20 a bracket or something like that. And
Mm-hmm.
there's like, I don't know, there's 4,000 people in it. I think first place you win like $3,300 or something. I don't know. Not
Wow.
4,000, but a lot. And then me and my other 3 buddies that we have our constant group chat with, we just did one bracket each. So that one, I feel like I have a good shot at winning. They both picked Duke. So if the Gators win, I'm definitely going to win because it's weighted by,
Right.
you get
Yeah, that's
32
good.
points if you pick the Natty. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Also, because we're on the sports junkie section, tomorrow, not only does it start back up with the Sweet 16, tomorrow is another exciting sports day for me because it's the opening of the MLB season. And so
Yes.
I get to watch the Phillies and the Gators all weekend. It's
to be a good
I'm
weekend.
so happy. Yeah.
Yeah. And
Coming off that Super Bowl, and I got my Gators rolling. The Phillies are a strong squad, although, geez, the Braves are good, but the Dodgers are just ridiculous.
yeah, I love
They're
spring
ridiculous.
sports. You know, got the sun shining, got sports on TV. It doesn't get much better. Hot pockets in the microwave.
Yeah.
Doesn't get much better.
Mount a TV up by your deck. It's
Yep.
deck season, baby.
Got the cords running from the living room to the outside, the extension cord. Just, you know, Clark Griswold running electricity through the, anyways, if anyone knows what Clark Griswold is, but
yeah. Make sure you check the light switch in the garage if you can't get power.
The power decking is just massive. She's,
oh my god. Oh yeah, what for his Christmas tree? No, that was Christmas Story when he kept burning fuses. Oh yeah.
Yep. That's gonna be Tom and I in the backyard just burning through fuses. But just to sum it up, we hope you guys enjoy this podcast. I know Tom and I do. I know I always joke about Tom and I talking to ourselves, but this time it's, it was a very good topic, informative topic. Tom hit home on a lot of stuff. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us. That's why him and I are here. If you want to drop down who you voted for in the March Madness, we would love to hear. If you say anything other than Gators, probably not going to be happy.
That's fine.
But
It's totally fine. I should have done a bracket. I did do one bracket with them not winning because you got to hedge your emotions, right? And you can't go all heart. That's how I always used to do it. One heart bracket and one like what I think is realistic.
Right.
Unfortunately, this year the Gators are so good that they kind of both are the same. But so I had to do one with. I think I had Auburn winning. I don't know. It makes me sick to my stomach saying that. Anyway, continue.
No, I was to kind of go off of that. It's, I want to see Duke in the end too, but that's because I want to see Florida beat them, And so, anyways, I'm talking out of bias here and excitement, pure heart, like what Tom was saying, and probably not exactly with my head, but I'm hoping I'm thinking with both. But I hope you guys enjoyed this podcast. I know Tom and I do, and we're looking forward to seeing you guys in the next one. We hope you guys have a good one.
Smash the like. Please subscribe. Tell your friends if you like our content. Please.
All right. We'll see you guys on YouTube. See you later.
Awesome.